Hey, it's Sam Hyfo from Entertainment Weekly. I am joined now by the cast of Once Upon a Time. Yeah, cheer for yourself, guys.
Yay! Yay me!
Yay you!
I'm awesome.
Oh, too much?
Well,
No, it's a little big.
we ended last season. Storybrooke is being invaded by the land of untold stories. Where do we pick up when we come back?
Being invaded by the land of untold
Same clothes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same clothes. Would you kind of pick up right where we left off?
from there.
Which we kind of
Like
typically do.
literally.
Yeah.
Literally moving.
Bells and box.
Yep.
Bells
Bells
in
in
the
the
box.
It's become my favorite thing.
What's in the box?
Bells
In
and
the
box.
box.
Like a time
What
reference.
else? Hyde's moved in.
Well, Hyde's trying to take over the town.
Evil Queen's been separated
Evil
from you.
Queen's been
Queen's
separated.
But we think she's dead.
Yes.
I've still got my baby.
Yeah.
Emma's super psyched that Hook's back from the dead.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Hook's back from the dead.
Yeah.
Again,
That's
Back
that's
from the
pretty
dead.
detailed.
There's a lot going on.
So the Evil Queen has declared war. Does this mean just like every happy ending is in jeopardy at this point?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically, the answer to everything is just yes.
Yeah.
It's all going horribly.
Probably the safest place would be to be in a box, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
You guys should come
safe.
Any
Can I
room
come
there?
in?
Is there any
Hang
room in the
out.
box?
There's a couch.
I've got a key. Can I come in?
Is
I
there-
feel like I
Is there
could
a
fall
TV?
asleep in a box.
Yeah,
right
and a
now.
hookah.
Yeah.
There's a hook? Okay.
Not a hookah, a hookah.
There's a
A hookah.
There's
There's a hookah.
Hey, there's a hookah.
We'll be cutting that part out.
Well, I am curious what the sleeping spell does mean for Belle this season. Like,
We're all curious. About that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I can't say too much about that, but you do find through the sleeping curse, you find out a lot about her. I guess sort of past, present, and future, and her family.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, you all, it was revealed today that Aladdin is a savior. Does this mean that there are saviors of every land?
Possibly.
Maybe.
There are
There
other.
might
There,
be
there's
multiple
saviors
saviors.
of
Might
multiple
be
points in
multiple
time.
saviors. Okay. Well, I know, like, obviously with Regina, we are exploring, like, her duality. Is that something that we're going to kind of do with all the characters?
Yeah, I think in a way it's sort of like being sort of introspective and looking at the good and the bad parts of yourself, because we all have like a bit of a hero and a villain in us to a point. It's a case of which way you sort of lean. And I think this season's going to be about everyone kind of thinking about themselves and what they've been through and what part of them is going to shine through and win in the end.
Yeah. It, like, you know, the creators have talked about, like, getting back to kind of small town stories this season. How is that kind of reflected in your characters and what is kind of happening with your storylines this season?
I think when you come back home, you have to deal with yourself. And so kind of with what Rebecca was saying, we're all facing our own baggage. And Regina's doing that in the most obvious way because she's physically split in two.
And literally facing herself.
Yeah, but metaphorically that is at work in all of us. You know, I mean, Emma's trying to figure out what it means to be the savior and what it would mean to be without having to help people, you know, so and that's just her example. I mean, I think that, you know, Charming's going through that, and Hook's going through that, and Henry's going through, you know, everybody's going through their own version of that, you know, so I think when you come back home, that's a place where you can sort of start to do some self-reflective thought.
Yeah. Does this like, because obviously declaring war is not a great thing. Does just newsflash for everyone. But does this season feel darker to you guys than seasons past? or
It's
is
too
it
early
kind
to
of-
tell because we only just
No.
started
Yeah,
602
we're
a couple of
in
days ago, so
602.
we are in the beginning of the throes of the beginning of the.
I mean,
throes.
last
We
season
were in
was-
21 more.
Actually,
21 more
last year. I don't
episodes,
think it's
so
much
That's
Yeah, I mean,
true.
last season was
That's
pretty
true.
dark. So,
Yeah.
Actually, I think the
Including
first
hell.
season was probably the darkest. If you had to go back, it was quite dark, and then I think, started to. They backed off a bit from that, but in the first season, I would say is probably the darkest
Okay.
of all seasons.
All right. Well, thank you guys for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yay!
And you guys stay tuned to EW.com for all your Comic-Con news.